So, the unified team. Well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that if you're trying to build a unified team, you won't have to convince anyone that it's a good idea. Management loves the idea because a focused group of employees can accomplish amazing things. And employees love it because it's just more fun to work that way. There's something about being a part of a unified group of people that appeals to all of us. Now, the bad news is that most of us don't have a clue as to how to make that happen. We know it when we see it. We do know how unity feels, but it really is just a feeling. So we're not quite sure why it happens or how to repeat it. Well, as luck would have it, that's what this program is about. We're going to try to explain why a unified team happens in the first place and how you can promote that. We're going to uncover a few traps that might threaten to break down your team's unity. And we'll show you exactly what you as a coach can do to restore it if that happens. But in all fairness, we need to start out with a warning. This program is about feelings. And feelings are messy, they're slippery, they're unreliable. They don't seem at all businesslike. That's why most managers try to avoid them. But like it or not, unity is a feeling. So prepare yourself. This might get a little messy. But trust me, it's worth it. Let's start with why unified teams happen at all. These are the ABCs: achievement, belonging, and contribution. Now, the more these feelings are present in your group, the more unified they feel. The more they'll learn, the more they'll accomplish, and on and on. Let's take them one at a time. We'll start with every coach's favorite, achievement. The single best thing you can do to promote a feeling of achievement for your team is to establish SMART goals. Goals give your team a destination. Without goals, they may feel like they're on an endless journey headed nowhere.
Into our schedule.
What about fewer cancellations?
Oh, that's a great place to start. Why don't we go around and everybody toss out at least one idea? How do we cut cancellations? Maria.
Could we please start with Randy?
Sure. Randy.
Well, it seems that the more callback and confirms we do, the fewer cancellations we end up with.
Great. More callbacks and confirms. Ned.
You know what? Would you mind if we took a little shortcut here? I'm guessing that most of you already know a lot about goal setting. So why don't we just do a quick reminder here? I'm going to ask you 5 simple questions, and you need 5 strong yes answers. You ready? Okay. And we like the word SMART when we talk about goals. S-M-A-R-T. Now, to start with, SMART goals are specific. So here's the first question. Do each of your team members know exactly what they need to do to achieve your team goal? Yes or no? SMART goals are measurable. Number 2, can each team member find out at any time how far they've come and how far they have to go? Yes or no? Number 3, ambitious. Does your team goal force each member to stretch in order to achieve it? Yes or no? Number 4, reachable. Are you positive that the goal is within your team's reach? Yes or no? Don't ever set your team up for failure. Number 5, SMART goals are time-bound. Does your goal have an absolute deadline? Yes or no? So, how'd you do? Okay? Well, hopefully you don't have much homework to do, because we're going to go back to that goal-setting session now. And we're going to assume that you scored 5 strong yes answers. So you've set SMART goals, and you've got your team on board.
Okay, I want to read back what we all thought were the best ideas. Now, as you hear each one, I want you to decide something. Is it ambitious enough, or could we do better? Now,
This is not why I took this job.
reducing cancellations by 20%. Right
We'd
now,
have a better
average
chance if
about
we could get rid of a
5,000
few people
calls
around here.
So if we reduce that by 20%, that means...
Is it my turn to pick up the kids?
cancellations, each 700.
Without a commitment from each member of the team, there is no team goal. It's just your goal. So how do you get a team commitment? Go around the group right there and ask for a show of hands? Well, you might get a yes from everyone if you put them on the spot, but you won't get a real commitment. You can only get that one-on-one.
Well, thank you for your confirmation.
That's one of the most forgotten steps when it comes to team goal setting. Get a commitment privately from each team member.
Easy making those kind of calls?
Andy, I'll try. But please don't expect to turn me into a salesperson, okay?
When members are asked privately to commit, their objections and reservations can more easily surface. These are important because they help you identify where each member might need your help in reaching the goal.
Now you're talking about cold calls.
How would you feel about teaming up with Randy for the first week or so?
Gaining a commitment now might also prove invaluable down the road. Reminding struggling members of the commitment they once gave you can become powerful remotivation for them. So get a commitment from each member before you start.
I mean, you could.
Hi, Ned. How's it going?
All right.
Hey, how do you think the meeting went? Seemed like people were excited. Think it's going to work out?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
All right. I don't think it's going to work at all. I don't think we have a real team. I think...
Be careful not to take anyone's commitment for granted. Even members who normally enjoy goal setting and value achievement highly may have reservations of another kind.
We have people like Tony C., who don't have a clue as to how to do their job, or else they just don't care. And that makes the rest of us look like losers.
So, what just happened here? Ned turns into a tattletale and starts blaming Tony? Well, what do?
You just forget about Tony C., young man. You just worry about you.
The worst thing you can do is punish the team member for being honest. Ned obviously values achievement highly. He doesn't want to look like a loser.
Ned, I gotta
So
tell
don't
you,
squash
I'm
that
kinda
feeling.
surprised.
Promote it.
I thought the meeting went really well.
Thank him for caring about the team's success.
But I understand. And thank you. I really appreciate that you're concerned about this. I'm going to look into things, see what I can figure out. Now, it may take a few days, but I promise I'll get back to you.
All right. I just want to make sure...
Whether you believe the accusations or not, don't agree or disagree. Just promise to investigate and report back. That way you take the burden from the blaming member. You're going to deal with their concerns so they can focus on achievement. Who knows? Ned could be completely right. Tony C. could be dragging the whole team down. But that's not the immediate danger here. Left unchecked, blaming can destroy team unity faster than failure can. So deal with it first.
The important thing here, Ned, is that until I can figure out what's going on, you need to know that, for my part, this conversation is going to stay just between you and me. And I need to count on the same from you, all right?
All right. I haven't talked
To slow rumors and to stop the blame from spreading, make sure to give and get confidentiality. So, let's say you find that the accusation is true. Tony C. is struggling and your team is in danger of failing. What do?
I'll get back to you, okay? And thanks again. Now, there's one other thing we need to talk about. We've been having some problems finishing on time the last couple of weeks. And no matter how you look at it, we're a team. We've got to look out for each other.
Here's a very common mistake. Be careful not to coach the whole team when you should be coaching just one member. If you make that mistake, you lose in 3 ways. First, you insult and discourage the team members who are achieving. Secondly, you let the poor performing member off the hook. And finally, you encourage more blaming because your team usually knows who they're being punished for. If you find out that one member is having trouble achieving, coach them through it, privately. Don't involve the team. That's the best way to restore everyone's feeling of achievement. But what if you encounter blaming that's false? You determine that performance and achievement are not the issue. At times, blaming can reveal an entirely different threat to your team's feeling of unity. The issue of belonging.
Well, that's a great idea, but when are you going to get the bread?
Well, that's no problem. I can pick it up on my way to work.
That'll work. Thanks, Blake. So, we have a few minutes before we have to open. Any other concerns? Rosalind?
Well, sometimes when we get kind of busy, it seems like it might be better if just one person were in charge of the counter, because that way...
You can't make people like each other, and you can't make someone feel like they belong. In the end, belonging is a choice each member must make. It's an attitude, and you can't coach good attitude. You can only demonstrate it yourself. It starts with you as a leader, establishing what we'll call the Team Members' Bill of Rights. Now, you may have your own version already, or you may want to add to ours. At the most basic level, it protects each member's right to be respected, their right to be heard, and their right to try and fail. We suggest you keep your Bill of Rights simple, but non-negotiable.
Excuse me, Glenna? Rosalind wasn't finished.
I didn't say anything.
Yes, you interrupted.
Sorry?
Go ahead. You had an idea about the counter.
Right. Well,
It's always better to coach offenders privately if you can, but at times you may be forced to correct one member in front of the entire team. Never back away from your member's Bill of Rights. If it is ignored, you will be ignored as a leader.
Glenna, that was totally uncalled for.
I am sorry, but it struck me as funny. Look, I can't help it if she just doesn't get it.
And I can't change the way you think. But I have a lot to say about what you do or don't do as a member of this team. Just like I wouldn't let someone treat you like that.
The offender needs a clear reminder of their teammates' rights, and you need a commitment from them that it won't happen again.
I did not mean to laugh at her, but she's just in her own little world.
I'm glad you didn't mean it. But I need to know that it's not going to happen again.
With some private coaching on your part, personality conflicts don't have to turn into team unity problems.
Have you and Glenna had problems before this?
Uh-huh. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but she's been on me since I started working here.
Have you told her that?
Oh, no.
Well, if you had the chance, what would you tell her?
I'd tell her to leave me alone.
Remember, it's not your job to solve all of your team's conflicts. It's your job to teach them how to do it themselves.
It's what they call an I statement. When you do this, this is how I feel. Forget about her motives, just tell her how it affects you. She'll either say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel that way, or she'll say, yeah, so what?
That's what she'll say. Thank you.
No, I don't think so. But that's a different issue. Let's work on this one for now, okay? Well, let's practice. I'll be Glenna.
Now?
Well, sure.
Confrontation and disagreements are a natural part of any healthy team, even a unified team. Your goal shouldn't be to eliminate them, but to teach each member how to work through them. That's the best way to restore their sense of belonging. But what happens if a simple confrontation erupts into a full-blown dispute? Open disputes will almost always destroy your team's sense of belonging. If that happens, some members may even choose to restore their feeling of belonging by joining a faction within the team. Factions can be a coach's worst nightmare. No one enjoys the prospect of getting between two people who are having an open dispute. Most of us would rather meet with each person separately and try to figure out some kind of compromise to suggest to both. As tempting as that approach may be, as a coach, it could do more damage than good. Not only can you appear to be taking sides as you go between the disputing team members, but each one is tempted to privately exaggerate the facts in an effort to win you over to their faction. Worst of all, when you play the go-between, you send the clear message that you, not they, are responsible for resolving their dispute. Instead, when you take the role of mediator, your goal is to get the disputing teammates to do all the fixing.
Rick, I'd like you to sit here. Stuart?
The key is to move at the first hint of a dispute and bring them together. The next step is to set the ground rules.
Okay, here's how we're going to do this. The first thing I need to hear is how each of you sees this problem. So we're going to take turns, and I'm going to ask both of you not to interrupt, all right? I'm going to start with Stuart, then it's Rick's turn. We'll go from there. All right, so what happened?
Start with him. I have no idea. All I know is I came in this morning and he's telling everybody I'm a liar.
Oh, brother. Look at the coach's hand. He's using simple body language to maintain control without breaking eye contact with Stuart. That's step 3, maintain control.
All right, what did he say that wasn't true?
Nothing.
Rick, you agreed not to interrupt.
What would you call it?
I said I wouldn't trust you.
Rick, hold on. Stuart.
This chair setup lets a coach cut off their eye contact with each other by simply leaning forward. He now adds a change in his voice to maintain control.
Talk to me. Now, what's the problem as you see it?
He says I promised to switch days with him, which I did not, and I don't have to, right?
Remember, their goal is to get you on their side, into their faction. don't go for it. That's step 4. Remain impartial. Do not offer any opinions. Just keep probing for more information.
Well, do you mean that you asked him to help you when he wouldn't?
Right, that's after he already said he would. So, talk about who's the liar.
Let me see if I'm clear on how you see this. You asked Rick to help you when he wouldn't, and you never agreed to change days off with him. Is that about it?
Right. And he called me a liar.
I understand. Anything else?
No. That's it.
Once the first team member agrees with your summary, that's your signal to interview the other party.
All right, Rick. How do you see the problem?
This is nuts. I asked Stewie 4 weeks ago to trade days with me for next week. And he said he would.
I said I'd think about it.
You said... He said no problem. So I made plans to take my kids out of school so we could go up to the lake. Monday. This Monday.
So when Stewart withdrew his offer of the trade, you became angry, and you told some people.
Yeah.
Is that about it?
Once you've summarized both points of view, it's time to gather solutions.
Well, Rick, I'm going to start with you. How do you suggest we solve this problem?
I don't know. What do you think's fair?
At this point, you may have a very strong opinion about who's right, or who's being childish and exactly what they should both do to get over it and get back to work. But that's not what this is about. This is not about getting back to work. This is about restoring the feeling of belonging for both of these team members. And that's only going to happen if the solution comes entirely from them. So remember, gather, don't offer solutions.
I'm going to need a suggestion from you on this.
Well, Stewie should keep his promise. That's what should happen.
His promise?
Yeah, he should trade days with me.
All right.
Once you have a suggestion, present it to the other party. Don't worry about whether it'll work or not.
Rick suggests you trade days with him.
Why should I?
If the suggestion is rejected, don't worry about why. Just ask for one of their own.
What's your solution?
That is my solution. If I had a reason to trade with him, I would.
The coach continues taking suggestions between the two teammates until they begin to agree.
Behind the back issue.
I've got an idea.
Just a second.
Oh, no, go ahead, because I really have no idea.
What if we both agree to talk to each other first when we have a problem?
Once both teammates begin showing respect for each other, just encourage their solutions.
Way out of line talking to those guys.
And remember the final step. Schedule follow-up.
Well, then why don't we do that? And I want us to meet back here at the end of the week just to see how things are working out, okay? You guys came up with a good plan. And?
By scheduling follow-up, you send the clear message that they are both accountable for making the solution work. Mediating a dispute can be a difficult but very rewarding part of protecting your team's sense of belonging. The fun part is promoting that same feeling. Just like goals help focus the team on what they have in common as workers, celebrations help focus them on what they have in common as people. Celebration is your best tool in promoting a sense of belonging. Look for a reason to celebrate anything. The reason for your celebration is far less important than the fact that you are taking time to do so. It sends the clear message that you value belonging, that it's okay to relax for a minute and enjoy each other as people. Celebrating anything includes celebrating the tough times, things like finishing inventory, enduring the holidays, or surviving your new computer system. Celebrating adversity is a great way to build a sense of belonging. The idea that we're in this fight together, our backs are against the wall, it's us against the world. Every time you pull through a tight spot together, your team forms a stronger bond. That's when each member has a chance to rise to the challenge and show what they can bring to the group. Which brings us to our final letter. Promoting a feeling of contribution is a matter of providing each member of your team with an opportunity to contribute, and then simply showing your appreciation. Now, if you're like most coaches, you're saying, great, they want to contribute, when do we start? I've got a truckload of opportunities for them, which is fine, but remember, sometimes your list of opportunities might not match with theirs. Here's a simple way to uncover the opportunities that they value. Find 10 private minutes with each member of your team. Ask them 3 questions. How are you doing? How is the team doing? And how can I help?
I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have said anything at all. I feel bad every time I say
Things might start out slowly, but eventually you'll get an earful, and that's okay. Not every idea is worth doing, but every one of them is worth hearing. Once you uncover an opportunity that they truly value, do everything in your power to give them the chance to try.
Well, I was hoping you'd be willing to work with him a little.
Oh, it's hard for me to teach him anything because he won't listen to me. I mean, why should he? I mean, I'm not Tony's boss.
Well, what would you do if you were?
What do you mean?
Well, would you be willing to work with him if I set up an official mentor program?
I don't know. You think he'd go for that?
Opportunities can be as immediate as the chance to try out a new idea, or as long-term as the chance to grow into a new role. Whatever their contribution ends up being, each team member needs to know clearly how much you value it. Year after year, survey after survey, appreciation ranks near the very top of every employee's wish list. People need to feel that their contributions are being appreciated. For some, appreciation means the applause of their teammates. For others, maybe just a note from you. You set the example. It's contagious, and it starts with you. Do you have a reputation for appreciation? Are you notorious for spotting great work a mile off? Do you have a nasty habit of catching people doing something right? Well, put that at the top of your to-do list every day. Don't go home without finding something to appreciate. Don't make it complex. Just make it often. Well, those are the ABCs: achievement, belonging, and contribution. Those are the feelings that need your care and feeding if you want to build your unified team. Now, if it seems a little bit overwhelming, relax. You don't have to do it all tomorrow. Just pick one feeling to promote and start there. Maybe it's time to review your team goals to make sure everyone knows exactly what they should be doing to succeed. Has it been a while since your team just had fun together? You can't make them have fun, but you can make room for fun. You can't make them like each other, but you can help them understand each other. You can put the ABCs in place, then it's up to them. They'll succeed and feel achievement because they committed to smart goals. They'll bond and feel belonging because they learned to work things out. And they'll feel a sense of contribution because they seized an opportunity and earned the appreciation of their teammates. Well, that's about it. But remember, at the end of the day, you can only do your best. The coach can't win the game. That's up to the unified team. Thanks for watching.